Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. I'm Tanvi Arora and I'm working here as a functional consultant. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about application metadata analysis and why it is necessary. So why do we validate the metadata? Because incorrect or inappropriate metadata properties can cause errors during consolidation and cause poor performance. To ensure that your metadata is valid, you can run the metadata validation report at any time. The validate message screen displays validation results in 3 categories with the count for each category. So basically, when you change the properties of any of the members and then you validate your metadata report, so basically what you will get these kind of things. That is, first is error, second is warning, and third is information. So error, these are the errors that are expected to cause problems in the application, and then they must be fixed. Warnings are the messages of issues that might cause problems in the application. Then information, these messages are for informational purposes only. Okay, so we'll see it practically where these things we can see in the application when we run the validation report for the metadata. Basically, this is the process that we use for validating the metadata in the application. So to validate metadata from the metadata validator, on the home page of the application, we will click on application. Then we will click on overview, and from the actions, we will select validate metadata, and then we will run the validate metadata report. Okay, and then we will get this error, warning, and information. So we will go to the application and practically see. Okay, so this is the homepage of my application, and under navigator, under application, I will go to overview. Okay, and then from actions, I will choose this option of validating metadata, and then you can see that I have to run this report. Okay, after running, I can get various types of errors. Okay, so you can see that the errors are there in the account. Okay, these kind of errors are there because some of the properties of the data has been changed. Okay, metadata has been changed. That's why after validating, you are getting these kind of errors. Okay, so we will discuss few of the case scenarios in which I've changed the properties of the members intentionally to get these kind of errors. All right. Then these are the kind of warnings that we can get. Okay, so from here you can see these things. So what message you will get? This is the validation message. Metadata validation checks are applied against specific relationships within metadata in order to warn against situations that can cause data integrity issues, performance issues, or other issues. It is strongly recommended that you apply the validation error recommendations to minimize the risk of data integrity issues and take advantage of best practice performance considerations. All right. So basically, I'm going to discuss few of the case scenarios. Okay, so first case that I'm going to discuss is primary members must exist before the shared members. And if you if this is not the case, shared members are before the primary members in the application, it will throw you errors. So let's just see in the application. From the navigator, I will go to the dimensions. Okay, so under account dimension, I will open the hierarchy. So first of all, I will just show you, I will open both the hierarchies, that is total balance sheet traditional approach and cash and non-cash hierarchy. Okay. So as you can see that this is the cash at bank, which I have made under this total balance sheet, cash and non-cash. Okay. So I've made this cash and bank, and this is the primary member. So And I have made a shared member named as cash at bank under the total balance sheet traditional approach. Okay, this is the shared member. So primary member is after the shared member, all right, in the hierarchy. So basically when we will validate this, it will throw error, and let's see what kind of errors it can show to us. Under overview, I will go to validate metadata. So I have to run this basically. So let's see under account. This kind of error that you are seeing is for the first case, shared member should not exist before the primary member. All right, so this was our first case. Then this is the second case. Level 0 member data storage types must be valid. Like data storage type must be valid for all the 0 levels. For example, if I talk about entity, so the data storage properties should be store, never share, or shared. So if in case I make it as dynamic calc, okay, which should be not be the case. So basically it will throw you errors. Let's just go to the application and validate this one as well. So under dimensions, okay, under dimensions, I will go to entity dimension. So if I open this C100, okay, this is the entity, and the data storage property, as you can see that I've intentionally set it to dynamic calc, but this should be store, never share. All right. So this should not be dynamic calc in any case. It should be shared, store, or never share. All right. For all the 0 level members. So basically, when I will run the validation report, we'll get an error. Let's see. I'll go to again to validate metadata and run this report. Okay. So under entity, you're getting this kind of error that data storage should be never share, shared, store for all the 0 level members. All right. And one more thing under dimensions. Okay. Under entity, when I open this property, all right, so the console operator, like the console and the rate operator must always be ignored in case of entity. Okay, so it should never be addition. All right. So you can see that the entity movement dimension, the data storage type must be store, never shared, shared. Also, the console operator should always be ignored. Okay. So if in case this is the addition case, I've intentionally made it as addition. And when I ran the validate metadata scenario, so under entity, you can see another type of error that I will get is the console operator should be ignored. All right. So this was the second case. Then let's just discuss the third case. The third case is only members with data storage dynamic calc should be set to 2-pass calculation. Okay, so only the members with the dynamic calc property should have this 2-pass calculation. All right, let's just go to the application and see. Otherwise, you will get a warning for this. So this under account dimension, I will just see the total balance sheet traditional approach hierarchy. Okay, so under cash at bank, suppose I'm choosing this account 111002. When I go to edit, okay, so basically this is the data storage property is never shared, and basically for the zero level member, this is a zero level member, and I have intentionally made it to 2 pass calculation. Okay, so it is going to throw you errors because the case is only members with data storage dynamic calc should be set to 2 pass calculation. A zero level member should not be set to 2 pass calculation always. Okay, so let's just validate this one, and what kind of error we will get. In this case, we will get a warning basically. Okay, so under overview from actions, I will again run this report. Okay, so it is showing that 2 pass calculation should only be used with dynamic calc storage types. All right, so this was the third case. Now let's just see the fourth case. Level 0 members should not be dynamic calc without formulas. Okay. So basically, if you are not putting formulas at the 0 level members, then its property should never be dynamic calc. It can be dynamic calc with the member formulas. So let's just see this case as well. Okay, so I'll go to the dimensions. This is account dimension only. Let's just open the balance sheet. So I will open this account. Okay, so basically you can see that this is a 0 level member and the data storage property is dynamic calc. All right. And also this is the 0 level member which doesn't have any member formula. So if it must be having any member formula, then it can be fine. Okay, then it can be dynamic calc. As you can see that there is no member formula here. So this should not be the case then. So we can actually run the validation report and see what kind of error we can get. The data storage is dynamic calc. Level 0 dynamic calc account can not be used within the balance sheet, balanced balance sheet. All right. So this is the error that we can get. So this was the fourth case. Now the fifth case is parent member should not have member formulas. Okay. So let's just see in the application and validate this one. So under this cash at bank one, now see, this is the parent member. I will go to edit option. Okay, and this has member formula. So I've intentionally created one formula in this parent member. So our case is parent member should never have member formulas. So let's just see what kind of errors it will throw to us while validating the report. Parent member should not have member formula. All right. So this kind of error we can get. So this was the fifth case. Now let's just move ahead to the next case. So our sixth case is aggregation operators for all the children of dimension names must be ignored or never. All right. So for example, let's just go to the application. Under dimensions, I will select intercompany. Okay, so this is the child of the dimension member, that is intercompany. Okay, when I will open this, okay, so you can see that the console and the console operator is ignore, okay, which is the actual case. So if you actually, like, if you actually create a sibling of this and change this property to something else, it will throw you errors. Okay, so it is always ignore. So aggregation operators for all the children of the dimension names, dimension name was intercompany. Okay, it should be ignore or never. All right. So if you change it, it will throw you errors. And also the aggregation operator should be ignore or never if a member is a child of a dimension name. So for entity dimension, ignore for both the console cube and the rates cube. And for other dimensions, ignore or never for console and cube, and ignore for rate cube. Okay. Then moving ahead with the next case, which is the seventh case basically. So what it is saying, account type and aggregation operators must match. All right. The combination of the parent account type and child account type determines whether the aggregation operator should be addition or subtraction. So I will first tell you this and show you this in the application. Okay, so let me open the account dimension. Under balance sheet. So this FCCS total asset is the parent. And if I go to edit and see, so you can see that the account type is asset. All right. Similarly, the child is FCCS current assets. This is the child. If I go to edit and open this, so the account type is basically asset. Okay, so for both parent and child, it is account type is asset only. If you change it, if you select any liability item, it will throw you errors. So this was the case. All right. Also, the combination of parent account type and child account type determines whether the aggregation operator should be addition or subtraction. Like if the normal sign, that is debit or credit, is the same for the parent account and the child account, like it is debit and debit, then the aggregation operator will be addition. If it is one is like parent is debit, the child is credit, so the aggregation operator should be subtraction. All right. You can see that this is the parent account type revenue. It is credit, and child account type is also credit. So it will add up. This is the addition case. Revenue, credit, expenses, debit, subtraction. Similarly, we can see for the other accounts as well. All right. Now the last case, that is all parent members in the multi-gap and custom dimension should be dynamic calc data storage. All right. So let's just go to the application and see this case. So I will open multi-gap dimension. Under this, I have created this UK gap. All right. So basically, if I open this one, and under UK gap, I have one child, local gap one. Okay. So if I open this parent member, UK gap, so the data storage property should be dynamic calc. Okay. But I've intentionally changed it to never share. Now, when I will run the validation report, I will get a warning for this, or I can also get an error for this. All right. That data storage property for the parent member should be always dynamic calc. All right. So let's just run the validation report once more. So first of all, let's see what error that we have got. The console operator for all the children of the dimension name should be ignore or never. First error is this. And under warnings, you will see the main error, main warning, that this parent member should be dynamic calc for the data storage, which was our case basically. Similarly, we can have few more cases regarding this metadata validation for few more dimensions. Okay, like if we change any of the properties for these members, it will always throw errors or show errors to you. So it is a good practice that you first validate all these things before proceeding further for this. All right. So this was the case, and thank you so much.